Welcome to our first edition of Carnivore News. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. As we review the really hot news items during the week, one thing of interest, baseball, the Astros controversy is really having some far-reaching effects with some recently hired managers who were associated with that, with the Astros, have been fired. Also, on the impeachment front, it looks like, well, it doesn't look, it's happening now. The impeachment process is now moving to the Senate. Chief Justice Roberts, I believe, has sworn in the participants, the senators. And also, it looks like Alan Dershowitz and Ken Starr will be part of the Trump defense team.
Right. And in economic news, markets have been up, setting new records for the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and Russell 2000, as well as the NASDAQ. Job numbers are lagging a little bit, but consumer confidence is way up. Expectations for a recession have now been put off until at least late 2021 and possibly 2022.
Got one little quick, a question, and I'm sure for our listeners, job numbers being down, any insights into that?
I don't think the job numbers mean all that much right now. You're talking about the period of time when you're coming off of all the temporary hiring from the holidays.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead.
Right. And in international news, protests have been going on all over Iran. The Iranian people are very upset that they were lied to by their government about the shooting down of the Ukrainian airline. And now it looks like those protests are going to be going on and on. There has been some violence, but for the most part, they're peaceful protests.
And also on the economic news, I think you have some news in terms of the some trade agreements as well, correct?
Yes, we've got some great trade agreements that have finally gone through this week. Phase 1 of the China deal was signed by President Trump. That's not going to reduce any of the tariffs, but guarantees more purchases by China from our farmers and also takes steps to protect U.S. intellectual property and company property. They're no longer required to hand things over. But that's only phase 1. There's still phase 2 to be negotiated. Also, Congress has ratified USMCA, which is the replacement for NAFTA. It's a good deal, bipartisan support, and Trump is expected to sign that next week.
Excellent. And I guess to conclude our first edition of Carnivore News, it looks like the truce between Warren and Sanders ended when the hot mic incident at the CNN debate kind of points to maybe a downturn in their relationship. Dr. Lopkin, our first edition of Carnivore News, and we'll do it again on Monday.
See you then.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio podcast network. You can catch us every week on carnivoreradio.com, exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.